Let's cut through the noise and drop the performative platitudes. South Africa's so-called broad-based black economic empowerment, BBBEE, affirmative action and racial quotas are always framed as necessary, progressive instruments meant to correct the imbalances of the past. But dig even slightly beneath the surface and the narrative starts to crumble. What we're actually looking at is a political and economic machinery meticulously engineered to punish and exclude one group of people, minority white South Africans, especially Afrikaners, while using them as scapegoats for a failed state. Let's look at the hard data, not the emotional spin. According to the government's own statistics, unemployment among black South Africans has surged to a staggering 40%. Among white South Africans, it stands at just 7.5%. Now, a rational, solution-oriented government would be scrambling to address the real problems: a failed education system that leaves students functionally illiterate, a collapsing infrastructure, and a skills vacuum that's threatening national productivity. But no. The South African government's bright idea is to tighten the grip on racial quotas and push through laws like the Employment Equity Amendment Bill of 2023, which gives the government full power to impose sectoral racial targets. Translation: you no longer get hired for being competent, you get hired for ticking a racial checkbox. If you're white, congratulations. You're now a second-class citizen in the country your ancestors built, and where your tax money still props up everything. And it doesn't end there. White-owned businesses, built without handouts, forged through grit, personal sacrifice, and entrepreneurial skill, are mandated to hire a certain minimum number of black South Africans. Doesn't matter if you built it yourself, doesn't matter if you're not getting state tenders or any BBBEE points. You must comply. And when these businesses decide, quite reasonably, to employ skilled black professionals from elsewhere in Africa, because the local education system keeps churning out unqualified graduates who can't string a coherent email together, suddenly there's outrage. You're excluding locals! Scream the same people who have done nothing to equip those locals with any relevant skills in the first place. The irony is painful. The same state that can't produce competent workers cries foul when employers go looking for actual skills. It's not just hypocritical, it's economically suicidal. Now let's turn to the issue of salaries, a favorite hobby horse of the activists. White employees earn more than black employees, they yell, conveniently ignoring the socioeconomic realities behind this. Here's what no one wants to say out loud. White employees have to carry the full weight of financial responsibility in a country where government welfare is distributed based on skin color. Black South Africans get free RDP houses. White South Africans? Nothing. Black households often don't pay for electricity or water. White families are stuck with skyrocketing utility bills every month. Black children go to no-fee public schools, where they're also eligible for a range of government bursaries. White children? Good luck. Their parents pay thousands of rands per month, often more than 1,000 rand per child per month, just to access basic education. And if university is on the cards, forget about government support. The doors are closed. Some white kids are now forced to take online Cambridge curricula just to get a decent education. And let's not even talk about security. White families must shell out thousands for private armed response services because the government has effectively abandoned public safety. So yes, if white employers are paying white staff more, maybe, just maybe, it's because their cost of survival in this so-called rainbow nation is significantly higher. Their salaries have to cover school fees, home loans, medical aid, electricity, water, and security. Most black South African employees get all of these for free. Can you believe that? Let's talk about that sacred cow, the BBBEE scorecard. A system so comically bureaucratic it could make Kafka blush. If you're a business owner and you want to apply for a government tender, or even just be left alone, you better have your racial targets on lock. That means more than 25% black ownership, at least 60% black senior management, and a minimum of 6% of your payroll going toward training black employees. Don't meet these quotas? You're blacklisted, cancelled, and cast out of the economic system. Try to comply by hiring symbolic representatives just to meet the numbers, and you're accused of fronting. It's a no-win scenario. The system demands representation, not competence. So when the business suffers, the blame game circles right back to white people for not doing enough transformation. You can't make this stuff up. Then there's the elite circle of political royalty raking it in while everyone else suffers. Take Cyril Ramaphosa and Patrice Motsepe, two of the biggest beneficiaries of BBBEE deals, both of whom have grown fat off state-enabled wealth while millions remain jobless. Ramaphosa himself admitted in 2021 that BBBE is drowning in corruption. No surprises there. Yet we're still told that white entrepreneurs, many of whom were born post-1994 and have never tasted any form of apartheid privilege, must pay for sins they never committed, all while their tax money funds a system that actively works against them. The brain drain is no longer a theory, it's a full-blown crisis. Skilled white professionals are emigrating in droves. Engineers, doctors, IT specialists, they're done. Tired of being villainized, they're packing up and leaving. And why wouldn't they? The Democratic Alliance has already warned that the new equity law could wipe out 220,000 white jobs in Gauteng province alone. But this doesn't seem to bother the ruling Black Party. Ideological purity is more important than national stability. Who needs a functioning economy when you've got race-based ideology to prop up? Smash that like button if you're fed up with this insanity. Subscribe and hit the bell to join the fight. Your support keeps this channel alive. Let's be brutally honest here. The South African government has weaponized equality. They talk endlessly about reconciliation while practicing a grotesque form of racial exclusion that mirrors apartheid in reverse. White South Africans aren't clinging to power, they're clinging to survival. And they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. A white farmer employs black workers? That's exploitation. He decides to mechanize and cut staff? That's racism. There is no winning, only compliance. And please, spare us the crocodile tears about historical redress. 30 years into democracy, and 60% of top management positions are still held by whites, not because of some shadowy old boys club, but because decades of BBBEE and affirmative action have trained an entire generation to prioritize entitlement over effort. The education system is broken, the state is dysfunctional, and the economy has flatlined since 2010. But let's keep blaming apartheid. It's easier than fixing anything. Enough is enough. Stand with us. Join the channel membership to access exclusive content and debates. Donate via Super Thanks to help us expose more truths. Let the ads play 30 seconds minimum, because every cent goes toward keeping this message alive. Subscribe, share, comment, like, because silence is complicity. This isn't about race anymore, it's about survival. Wake up, South Africa!